So here is the Money Max account itself, right? As you can see, it's like a dashboard. I want you to think of this as like a financial GPS for all your future decisions, for all your goals, and it's going to be designed for you specifically so that it keeps you on a path to eliminating interest and recalculating that path based on all the decisions you make, based on your income changes, your expenses changes. It's a constant recalculation, just like a GPS system in a car is constantly recalculating your path to your destination. This is constantly recalculating your cash flow, and your income changes, your expenses change, and it will eliminate the debt as fast as you possibly can, as well as hitting your goals for the future as most efficient as possible. So let's dive in, okay? So this is the dashboard, and as you can see, this is your payoff date, right? Literally, you know to the day that you'll be debt-free. This is the years to pay off, and this is the interest savings. Now you have the action plan. The action plan is almost like that checklist, if you will. If you can remember, when people used to use a checkbook, they would like kind of write down and let the system, track their checking account. This is literally the path that you'll be taking, and I'll get into that in a minute. Then you have the budget tab and the accounts tab. I just want to let you understand something. I'm not going into all the details today. I'm trying to give you the high level so you can see the real value of the system, but please know there are so many more things that you can use this program for, and please get the knowledge and information you need to use this the best way possible. And you get coaching as well as a client. So in the accounts tab, you can see this is John and Rebecca Jones, okay? So this is their bank accounts, right? They have $500 in checking, $5,000 in savings, and you can even set a limit. If I click on edit right here, you can set a limit of an emergency fund. So their emergency fund is $45.30, which means they're going to keep that in savings and never use it to pay off debt, okay? Unless you need it for an emergency or something, which is exactly what that is for, right? Which is great. Then they have their liabilities, okay? If you look, they have a car loan. They have a credit card. They have a signature loan, like a student loan or something, right? And then they have their mortgage. So literally $232,000, okay? That is their debt. And then when you look at the budget tab right here, I want you to think about this for a minute. John and Rebecca Jones make $5,000 a month. That is their average income. John gets paid twice a month. Rebecca gets paid once a month. Okay, $5,000 a month. Now they're spending almost $4,700. If you look at this, I want you to understand there are some people that like to itemize everything they spend their money on. This is very flexible. You can itemize if you want, or you can just put like a large bucket monthly living expenses, okay? You could be as specific as you want to be or not, but their total monthly expenses is $4,700. And if you look, just to show you some examples, I did itemize a couple things: food and dining, bills and utilities, okay? I even split that down to phone, gas, and then I put everything else. Remember, you don't have to itemize anything. I want you to be comfortable to understand you could use this for as much as you want, or it could be as broad as you want. It is your choice because this is your program. Here's what's so neat. John and Rebecca Jones make $5,000 a month. They spend $4,700. They're going to be debt-free in 11.9 years, not 30. And they're going to save $143,000 in interest if they follow the steps of the action plan. Look how dynamic this will be, okay? So this is their action plan. Now, when you look at this all throughout, okay, it's a step-by-step way to pay your bills, take your income in. This isn't moving the money for you, okay? This is just a registry and a guide. Like a GPS system in the car is constantly showing you where to go. This is the same thing based on your income, your expenses, your debts, right? When you see these little funds transfers right here is what they call it. It is specific steps to follow the path to eliminate as much interest as you possibly can, but without affecting your lifestyle at all, and get you out of debt, cancel that interest, and change your life. So look at this. Checking to savings, right? That funds transfer of $362.79. Savings to MasterCard, right? That's an extra funds transfer. There's all these steps all throughout. And if you follow these steps as John and Rebecca Jones, you're going to be debt-free in 11.9 years. But watch how dynamic this is, and watch how life-changing. If you use this program the right way, this system is so much more than just a debt elimination program. It is a lifelong cash flow management program that lets you understand the cause and the effect of the decisions you're going to make now and in the future, and make sure they're the right decisions for you. So what do I mean? Very simple. Let's pretend today is November 2nd, 2021. John got paid today, right? $1,314. And he went to let the system know that he got paid, because it's a cash flow management type program. So you got to let it understand what you're making, what you're spending. And you say, yeah, I'm just going to execute that. Okay. And yeah, I got paid today. Now, if he got paid differently, he can change that. No big deal, right? And I'll even do that. Let's say he got paid $1,268.79. You just let the system know that. It's so simple to use, right? So easy to do. And then you just hit execute. Done. Okay. So the next thing is he paid this loan, right? That's his minimum payment due this month. You let it know. Okay. Now there are ways we can have things, just so you know, you can have the system connected to your bank accounts, like Mint or Quicken or QuickBooks. There's all these different programs that auto connect, if you will, so that it understands when transactions are being made at your checking account or your credit card, things like that. But for here, I'm making it simple. Yes, I made this payment today. I'm going to let the system know, and it's simple. And if you notice, it's falling off the top, because this is just your action plan. And if you follow these steps, you will be debt-free in 11.9 years, not 30. And these steps, again, are funds transfers. By now, you should understand that. If you watched another video or had an explanation by another agent on what that really means. Okay, but watch how this system is so dynamic and really your tool to use for the rest of your life. So John and Rebecca Jones. Now I want you to keep an eye on these funds transfers here, checking to savings, savings to MasterCard, and there's a couple ones throughout as well, okay? So by following these steps all throughout, they will be debt-free, again, in 11.9 years. But John and Rebecca Jones, they're talking, and they're just saying, we've been married 20 years, and John says, you've always wanted to go to Greece. Let's go ahead and plan for Greece. And Rebecca says, yeah, why don't we do that? And when do you want to do that? So it's, November now. He says, why don't we do it next Christmas? Okay. So in December of 2022, he wants to take Rebecca to Greece for their 20-year wedding anniversary. And so they say, yeah, let's see what that looks like. So it's right here. Watch how you can plan and prepare and make the right choice. Okay. So he says, let's look at that. Add new action. I'm going to hit withdrawal. And I'm going to take it from my credit card, right? Everybody knows that, right? Because that's what you do normally. What do we normally do? We put it on the credit card. We figure out, we can afford the payment. We'll get it paid off eventually. But they're going all out. So they're going to spend $10,000 on a trip to Greece, okay, in December of 2022, right? So you haven't even done this yet, but you can plan for it, okay? So they're going to go ahead, spend $10,000, and they can even put it in a little vacation bucket if they want to, right? And now watch this. This is a future thing, and you want to see how it's going to affect your choices to live your life, right? Awesome. So John and Rebecca Jones made a decision. Look at that, 13.6 years, okay? 13.6 years. And their payoff date completely changed. Their interest completely changed. And what happened here? If you remember, this said savings to MasterCard, and it was over $1,000. Their mathematical engine, their mathematical path, like a GPS system in a car, completely recalculated the fastest mathematical path to zero, understanding the future and how it's going to affect all of their goals holistically. So when I just click this true cost button, by the way, over here, okay? And when I click that, it shows, I can go all the way down. This is their action plan. And it shows, hey, look, on December 5th, a year from now, right? 2022, you're buying that trip to Greece for 10 grand. The true cost is actually $35,767.90. I want you to think about that for a minute. That is showing you that the true cost of this trip is not just $10,000, right? You're putting it on a credit card. There's interest associated with that. That also means that $10,000 is now part of your expenses that wasn't there before. So you can't pay off the debt as quickly as you can, right? You added, it went from 11.9 to 13.6. And look at the funds transfers all the way throughout. They're changed. They have changed. So this is just reallocating and recalculating and showing you the effect of that decision, and you can make a choice. Well, does that make sense? I don't know. Now, what if Rebecca says to John, hey, that's if we put it on the credit card. That's over a year away. And we have $5,000 in savings. What if we just want to let the system know we want to pay for that out of savings? Remember, they don't have 10 grand in savings. So watch this. You want to talk about cash flow management and making the right choice, okay? I can hit execute here, and I can change this from MasterCard to savings, right? And just say save to action plan for the future. And boom, at a click of a button, literally, it went from 13.6 to 12.6 years. And look at the true cost at the bottom. 14,000 instead of 35,000. That is huge. Now, what you'll notice, all the funds transfers, look, from checking to savings, 330, from checking to savings, all the money in their little discretionary funds and stuff, they're moving it over to savings, okay, to save and build that reserve up so they can pay cash in a year for their trip. And instead of adding almost 2 years of debt, they only added 1. That is huge, right? So they're going to talk about it, and they'll figure out if it's the right move for them, and they're going to think through that a little bit. So for now, I'm just going to go ahead and delete this trip to Greece, okay, and make sure that that's accounted for, right? So they're going to think through that, but they know they can do that out of credit card, they can do it out of savings, and they can make the right choice. So by deleting that, click of a button, we're back to 11.9 years. Another great example. Well, what if we want to buy a car soon? It's again November 2021, and we're thinking about buying a new car. How's that going to affect us? Does it make sense to do it? Watch this. I go to my accounts tab, and I just click add new account. Now, we haven't bought the car yet. I click on credit or loan. Yep, it's a loan, and I'm just going to say new minivan, right? They have a family, okay? It's a bank, that's fine. It's $40,000, right? 40,000, and yeah, it's a 4% loan. Let's say we always focus on rate and payment, right? So 74 months, because that's why they did that. You can even see when it's right here where it says show payment details, they wanted to be under $600 a month, but they were convinced that 610 was okay. But they want to see how this is going to affect themselves before they actually do it. You can even see what's going to principal, what's going to interest. It breaks it down for you. But watch this. When it says payment date down here, I can plan ahead, right? So I'm going to say we're going to buy this in the summer, and August 1st, our first car payment will be due, okay? Which means our statement date will come sometime in July, right? That makes sense to everybody, I'm sure, right? And I can see how this is going to affect us before even making this decision. If you use this program the right way, that is how you will use this, okay? So look at that, all right? I put it in, and again, the time went from 11.9 to 14.8 years. And look at the action plan. It completely changed. Even though you're not buying the car for what, 7 months? It understands how everything is connected. And it's going to set you up the most mathematical, perfect way to hit the goals that you want to hit and eliminate your interest as much as possible and plan before you even have to do it. I'm sorry, but that is huge, right? Now, maybe you don't want to buy a car in this summer, right? Because, well, 14.8 years, maybe that's not the right decision for yourself, right? So you can change with that. You can mess with that. Maybe like if I go back into this accounts tab here, and I can say, well, you know, that new minivan was $40,000. What if instead of 40,000, we buy a used one? It's 25,000, right? And because of that, you know, the payment's now 381.78. Totally different cash flow, right? Totally different. And if you do that, it went from 14.8 to 13.6. Pretty significant. But again, knowledge is power. And actually, I heard a saying by Tony Robbins, the execution of that knowledge is really where the power comes from. This program allows you to understand, forecast, plan accordingly, and really make the right decisions for you and your family to make a difference in your life instead of just making minimum payments and going on. Last example, which I think is really, really powerful. And there's so many other things I can show you, but a lot of our clients are investors, or they want to be invested. They want to get rental properties. And the value of this program to be able to portfolio plan and really understand if something's a good decision, or get out of debt as quick as possible, or build equity super fast so you can buy more rental properties and plan and forecast for that is very, very strong. So again, to set things at zero, I'm going to, at a click of a button, just, you know, delete that minivan real quick. Okay. Get that out of the equation, just so we're square at 11.9 for everything that we're doing. And again, where it comes to a new mortgage, right? You want to buy a rental property. John and Rebecca Jones said, you know, they've always wanted to buy a rental property. So they're going to hit add new account, right? They're going to put in a mortgage, right? And it's a regular mortgage because it is a new rental property. So they're just going to go ahead and put new rental property, right? That makes sense. And it's with BOA. Since it's a rental that they're planning for, you know, $250,000 mortgage, right? 000. You know, 5% makes sense for a rental. 360, 30-year loan. And you can even see like the payment details, 1342.05. Let's just say $300 for escrow. I know that may be a little light, but this is just an example. So 1642.05. And you know what? We're planning for the future, right? So we got to remember that. So the payment date for this is in January of 2023, right? That's their first mortgage, right? That they're planning for their new rental, which means they'll get their first statement sometime in December. And that makes sense. Okay, so watch this. Remember, they're planning for this to see how it's going to affect them. Okay, and I'll go ahead and click save. And this is so important to see. Look how this turned red up here. Okay, and look at this. It even says your expenses exceed your available funds on July 1st, 2024 by $1,200. All right, it even tells you you're only going to have $459.07 available in all your other accounts. It's letting me know ahead of time. Think about the ability to forecast and plan that 29 months from today, right? John and Rebecca Jones, you have 29 months to find a renter. Now that's good, right? You can plan, you can say, okay, I get it, right? 29 months from today. So it's actually less than that from the time you buy the house in January of 2023, right? July of 2024. So John and Rebecca say, well, we're planning for this. We're forecasting. That makes sense. So let's go ahead and include the rental income. Again, like I know we have to think about taxes. We have to think about real estate expenses, you know, for repairs and all that stuff. But I'm just trying to show you what you can do. Of course, you can put all that stuff into the forecast. And of course, you can plan for that. And annual taxes you can plan for. Everything is dynamic. But for now, we're just going to think about the rental income, right? So new rental income. And I can even select a category. for rental income. If I want to print out reports for my CPA or something, I can. And you know, on a $250,000 home, well, that's the mortgage, so maybe I had some down payment. Let's just say rent is, I don't know, $1,650. That's fair, you know. And I'm not collecting it now. We're gonna say, you know, in February of 2023, we found a renter. You know, we're planning for that. That's the forecast. Now, maybe March, I get that, but let's just put that in. And now I can see, if I'm John and Rebecca Jones, how that's going to affect me. I mean, look at that. 2 homes. Let's go to the accounts tab. 2 homes paid off in 17.3 years, free and clear, plus all their other debts, right? The car loan, the MasterCard, the other small loan, saving $224,000 in interest. So now John and Rebecca Jones are saying, you know what? I mean, let's plan. Let's use this program the way it was designed for us. So let's do one more home, just like put it in the future. I click mortgage. Of course, it's a regular mortgage, right? I'll just put second rental property. Here's what it's with. And again, maybe it's a bigger house this time because it is later. $300,000 mortgage. You know, again, maybe it's 5%. 360 months. And when you look at the payment detail, it's 1610. But let's say 400 is going to escrow. Make it a little higher this time. So that means 2010.46, right? And that all makes sense. You can see how much goes to principal, how much goes to interest. Kind of makes you sick. But now, again, we're planning for the future. So they bought their first rental property in January of 2023 was their first mortgage payment. So they're going to plan, you know, 2 years later, they got another one, right? And again, it's every January. So January 1st, 2025, which means their statement date will be on the 15th in 2024, and they hit save. And again, they look at this and they realize, so 4.2 years from today, matter of fact, on March 1st, 2026, they're going to exceed their available funds. It even says it. March 1st, look, time to exceed. That used to say time to pay off. But now it's showing you, hey, 4.2 years from today, if you're planning this, you will run out of money. Unless, of course, you have another source of income or a renter, right? And so you go to the budget. I mean, this is extremely powerful. And I'm just going to add another income, and I'll call it second rental house income. That's fair. I select my category. It's rental income. And, you know, for a house of that size, I mean, I would think that maybe $2,200 a month, right? That's probably fair, maybe even more in 2025, but we'll be conservative. And so again, maybe this time we don't find a renter for a few months after closing on the house and stuff. So March of 2025 is when that monthly rent is going to be forecasted to start. And let's see how this all looks. Wow. Powerful. We have 3 homes, free and clear, in 20 years. 3. I mean, I want you to think about that. Saving $315,000 in interest. That's wealth. That's retirement. All that rental income with no mortgage to pay for. You know, and you could just keep on planning and keep on going. It is so powerful. And I'm being conservative on the income side. I'm sure those rents are actually a little more. I hope you see the value in that. I hope you see the power in that. That's incredibly life-changing if you use this program the right way to plan strategically and make the right choices. There's so much more to this. I'll encourage you, learn more, get your analysis run, and get your questions answered. See some more of the demo if you need to. But this can make a major difference in your life